All right. This says solve the inequality, and we all know inequalities are tough, but I really believe that all of you can get these if we just start focusing a little bit more on just small steps. First thing I did was put a line straight down my inequality. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. That way we can keep things where they need to be, okay? So the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to look at it. 10 greater than -2. Oh, I've got parentheses, so that means I'm going to need distribution, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, because I like to work left to right, is I'm going to bring down my 10 greater than. Then I'm going to distribute. And I'm going to use my calculator just because I really want you to. So -2 times 2 is -4x. I think I should be writing with my stylus instead of my cursor, and that might make it easier. All right, and then the second thing I'm going to do is -2 times +5. So I'm going to remove that 2, and add in a 5, which gives me -10. Okay, so next step, 10 greater than -4x minus 10. First thing I'm going to do is add 10 to each side. We're eliminating the constant, the number all by itself. So 10 plus 10 is 20, greater than, and -4x, and then we didn't do anything with it, so it comes down. And that -10 and that +10 go away. All right, so our next step is we have to eliminate the coefficient. We have to get rid of what's bothering that x value. So we are going to divide each side by a -4. Dividing by a negative should set off lots of bells in your head. So when we divide by a negative, this inequality here changes direction. So now instead of greater than, it's less than. Okay, so let's put this in our calculator. 20 divided by -4 is -5, less than, because we divided by a negative, -4 divided by -4 is 1x. Now, if you'll notice, all of our answers here or all of our solution sets have the x on the left. And you can't just switch them. You got to think about it and do it very carefully. So I'm going to draw a line here and a line here. And my x is going to ride this slide right there and go there. And my -5 is going to ride it and come over here. But we've got this inequality here. Notice how it is pointing at the -5 and open toward the x. When we flip sides for the x and the -5, that inequality also has to flip because it needs to match what was up here. Open toward the x, open toward the x. Here, pointing at -5, pointing at -5. So we know that our solution is x is greater than -5. But I'm also going to draw the number line that we need you to draw to be able to find solutions. Here's 0, and whatever number I have here, I'm going to put on my number line -5. That does not have an equal to, so it means it is an open circle and it is pointing to the right. So that means any solution greater than -5 is a solution, but -5 is definitely not. So be really careful with that. Okay, let's go to our next example. This says select all solutions. This is where they trick you. So you got to be really careful. That would make the following true. So again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a line because I can't draw a straight line to save my life. And then I'm going to go back to here. All right, so let's get started. Hold on, excuse me, just 1 minute. Chainsaw. Don't do that, please. Chainsaw? Oh, you're in the back. It's okay. Sorry, I was reprimanding my cat. She wasn't even doing anything wrong. Sorry about that. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is read this, and it says 4x plus 3 is less than 2x plus 6. Well, right away I notice I have variables on both sides. So I'm going to put this guy in a box because I got to move it across that red line. It is a positive 2x. So the only way to move it is to do the opposite. So I'm subtracting 2x from each side. That way I'll stay balanced. So 4x minus 2x gives you 2x. I would definitely, I know it's silly, do this in my calculator to make sure I was right. See that plus 3? It's just sitting there by itself, so let's bring it down. Less than. These are gone now. They move to the other side, and we're going to bring down a positive 6. Make sure you know what the sign is. If it's a negative, bring down that negative with it. But this time it's a positive, so we're good. Next, we're going to just go on to our next step. We're going to eliminate the constant, that number by itself. So 2x drops down again. This is gone. Less than 6 minus 3. And again, just humor me. 6 minus 3 is 3. And we're going to divide each side by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we have an x. We divided by a positive number, so this stays the same. And then we're going to go ahead and just put this in our calculator so you have a decimal, which is easier sometimes to look at a number line when you have a decimal. So you have 1.5. So your answers have to be less than 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a small number line right down here. They don't have to be big. And put a 0 in. I always just do that so I know which side is positive and which side is negative. That is a a positive 1.5. So I'm going to put it right here, 1.5, which is halfway between 1 and 2. Now it does not have an equal to, so I know it can't equal 1.5, but I also know it has to be smaller because it's pointing to the left. So anything smaller than 1.5. So let's see, is negative 3 smaller than 1.5? Well, yes, because it would be way over here. So that's an answer. Is negative 1 smaller than positive 1.5? Yes, it is. Is 0 smaller than 1.5? Yes, it is. Is 1 smaller than 1.5? Yes, it is. Is 3 smaller than 1.5? It is definitely not. So 3 is not a solution. Be really careful with these because these are the ones that seem to get people every single time. All right. Thanks so much.